At the time of our taping tonight, a massive manhunt was underway in Munich, Germany, after an attack on a shopping mall left at least 9 people dead and an unknown number injured. German police said they were treating the shooting as a suspected terrorist attack. On Thursday night, the final night of the GOP convention, the threat of terrorism was a major theme of Donald Trump's speech. Trump declared America in crisis and vowed to restore the safety people fear they're losing. But was the speech too dark?
Such a dark speech.
Painted a picture of a country in serious trouble.
Painted such a grim picture of America.
It was very dark, scary,
paranoid, depressing,
bleak picture of the United States.
It reads dystopian and dark.
a very dark and frightening speech.
Almost dystopian Mad Max America last night.
America is in danger.
All right, they agree on something, I guess. On Friday, Newt Gingrich tweeted, "Will elite media attack on Trump's speech as dark change after Munich attack, which fits Trump's warning?" Gavin, look, I think Trump would say, of course it was dark. That's what I was going for.
Really? It was the only time I've ever been sexually attracted to a man in my life. I thought it was the most inspiring, exciting thing I've ever read. I was dancing nude on the beach after I saw it.
I actually, Gavin, you know, that's not metaphorical. I think I saw a vine of that, didn't I, or something?
I literally ran down the beach nude with my MAGA hat on. I thought it was really uplifting. Maybe it's being in New York too long. We're just dark people. But I thought it was fun.
Well, I mean, Camille, he would say it was a beacon. It was a warning. That's what he wanted, right?
I suppose. Look, he was trafficking in and selling a heck of a lot of fear last night. Plenty of fire and brimstone, not much of a singing chorus, no hosannas, apart from, I am wonderful, I am smart, the world is scary, but don't worry, me and my really smart friends can fix it. That is Donald Trump. But it is actually every single presidential candidate of the modern era. It is, in fact, the sort of mantra of the cult of the presidency. Yeah. Everyone paints really bleak pictures and tells us they can fix everything. It's also the case that they all exaggerate, and so did Donald Trump. We don't know, obviously, what happened in Munich, but we do know the crime stats that he trotted out yesterday, total bunk, nonsense. We actually don't know whether or not crime is going up in this country, but to the extent it went up 17-odd%, worth noting that we've seen a precipitous decline in crime in this country since the 1990s. It has been halved. That was the peak. So if it went up, it would still be about half as bad as things were in the 1990s.
Well, how could you say it was bunk then? I mean, it has been
because
declining.
We don't actually know the numbers.
It's a matter of interpretation.
We don't know.
You focus on one part of the chart. That's Obama's trick with unemployment.
Right. So you acknowledge that Donald Trump is playing tricks. Yes, he employed a gimmick.
Way of looking at a chart.
No, it's called a gimmick, Gavin.
Well,
it's okay.
Isn't that what politics is about? Come on, it's gimmicks, isn't it, Jimmy?
For the Trump man, yeah. I was actually disappointed. I was expecting more pyrotechnics. I thought we were going to get more of a theatrical entrance after Monday night when he did the WWE thing.
Yeah.
But I think his speech was accurate. I think if you were to look at the state of affairs in America today and give an upbeat speech, I think you're completely missing the point. Like, you'd have to be in some kind of denial.
Yeah, that would be more dark.
Yeah, I thought that would
there was a problem with Islam. If they denied cops were getting shot, that would scare the crap out of
if she goes out there and does that next Thursday, you look like a sociopath. Yeah. Like, if you just look at how this is polling, 70% of the country thinks we're heading in the wrong direction. So is he really being a fearmonger to discuss what's accurately happening in the world? Not about your stats, but I mean to the extent that he made so much concern over terrorism and foreign terrorism and stuff like that. It was a pretty accurate depiction of the situation.
But you can totally exaggerate the severity of the problem. And the fact of the matter is, everything isn't on the line. Those people can't take us all out.
But I know.
They're not
what kind of message is that?
America
After all, they're just the JV team, according to President Obama. They're the JV team. I don't want to meet the varsity if they're the JV team. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I want to say to the people of Munich, I know it's a hard time for you. The American people do have your back. We will not rest until we find the proper hashtag. So please know.
Well, I'm sure people are out there on Twitter tonight. Joanne, but that is what campaigns are. Trump is running against the current administration, so you have to kind of focus on the negative, don't you?
Well, yeah, he has the most honest campaign. I mean, a lot of politicians, I think, would do sort of like a victory lap in that speech. But what he really did was he focused on the realities at hand. I didn't see him as a politician, but more like a CFO of a company who was in the boardroom, bad quarter, how are we going to fix things? These are the problems, laying them out exactly, not sugarcoating stuff, and I'm going to help you fix it because as CFO, that's what I have to do. You can't do it on your own. I'm going to help you.
I like the company metaphor, especially if it's a multi-level marketing company that is selling you products that don't work and will never actually correct the problem.
I need the product.
We had a product that
They got to sell it. You can sell it. You can get rich. Sell this product now.
Let me show you a tweet. This is a tweet from John Fear, or John Ferre. He writes, Obama's quote on the left and the headline on the right tells you all you need to know about Democrats. Hashtag Munich. Look at that. It's on the left side, Obama says everything's okay. Everything's, they're exaggerating. And on the right side, the shooting spree. Gavin, do you agree?
I do agree. Here's the thing, the trouble with a lot of this data-obsessed Americans, I'm not naming names, but ISIS is not a threat to America in a very real sense right now. But we don't want it to get to a German level where we have tens of thousands of refugees encroaching on us as we hold up signs that say, refugees welcome. So we don't want it to get there, and we're nipping it in the bud.
How exactly?
By being intolerant of Islam.
Right, so being intolerant of terrorists is the way that we'll stop them from attacking.
Well,
I don't
you can make a funny face. It doesn't make my point any less true.
I'm interested in an actual tangible idea.
More dubious. Look at Britain. They have entire child prostitution rings because the cops are too scared of being seen as racist. Once we lift that fear and go, wait a minute, what are you doing here? What's going on? We prevent terrorism.
Do you think
xenophobia is healthy?
So, I mean, Camille,
that is bizarre and wrong.
But do you think just say that they're
scared of anything else?
Say what Gavin says is let's assume that well, I don't want to assume xenophobia is healthy, but say that we entered a period of xenophobia and then immigration came down. If immigration were reduced, do you think that would?
That's already the case.
But if it were, do you think that would lessen the chance of domestic terrorism?
No, I don't think so. I also don't think it would be good for America overall. This notion, and Donald Trump actually suggested something along the lines of stopping all immigration while we sort things out. You think that would be good for America?
What would
it would be good for America from an economic standpoint or otherwise. We've seen people radicalized who've been in this country for 10 or 20 years who are radicalized in isolation. One thing that you could do is you can actually harden potential targets of terror. You could do that. You could just make certain that we are more resilient and can actually survive attacks that might happen because guess what?
Everyone knows. All the people at the Boston Marathon are just like RoboCop?
Can you give me a second? If you want me to, I'll explain. Right, everyone knows that it is not so difficult to pull off an attack. We can try to make it more difficult because in a lot of cases when you try to preempt these attacks and you try to go on the offensive, you can make matters worse. When a bomb goes in the wrong place and you kill 70 civilians unintentionally, like we did 3 days ago in this, with our military potentially did this. That could make matters worse for us. And ISIS didn't emerge from nowhere. It came out of Iraq, and it came out of a failed foreign policy strategy that was supposed to take out one threat and create another.
Rational human beings.
No, I'm not implying that they're rational. I'm implying that the laws of physics actually, they matter, that there are consequences to actions. That doesn't matter whether or not they're rational.
Exactly. Okay.